What's going on, my beautiful governors? Welcome to a new Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we're going to talk about how my worst march literally outperformed most of the time, outperformed my best marches. Now, if you watched my previous videos, you should know that what my worst march is. It is none other than our siege/engineering march. The reason why this is the worst march is quite simple. Let me explain it first. The commanders that we are using, we are not even using two legendaries. We are using one legendary with an epic in Season of Conquest. And this legendary that we use is only at 5511, which is crazy. And the equipment, this is what they have. I was running them with two legendary accessories, and that was the only good thing that they had. The rest is just epics. Now, you should be able to see a few screenshots on your screen right now. Those are, as you can see, those battles took place at the same time, which means they're not altar battles. We all know that siege marches, engineering marches perform super well in altar battles, but this was just regular open field fighting, and that makes it even more weird. Now let's compare this march to my quote-unquote best marches. Number one in this KVK was my cavalry march, whole cubing primary, auto secondary. As you can see, they both are expertise. Well, whole cubing is not expertise, but he is max. I don't hit expertise on his skills. We may actually make a separate video why I don't like to hit expertise with whole cubing, but basically this commander, even though he is technically not expertise, cost me 690 sculptures, and the secondary was Arthur, the latest and the greatest cavalry commander, and my second best performing march was Liu with Alexander the Great, and of course again they both are expertise. Sometimes I used CPO with Liu, sometimes I used Liu and Alexander the Great, but at least for me most of the time they got very similar reports. Key here is that all these commanders are legendary. I mean, all these marches have only legendary commanders in it, of course no epics, and they have full legendary sets. This is the infantry set, this is the cavalry set, and even against those commanders, my engineering march, most of the time, unless I'm messed up and positioned very aggressively and caught off guard, they performed better. At least they traded better, more positively, and on top of that, it wasn't just the percentage, the number of kills that they got was also super nice. Now this brings me to our previous video, which was, I think, titled Everyone Needs a Siege March, and this, I guess, proves it even more. I think you should at least bare minimum invest on a siege march like I did, Cordoba with Narses. You can try like other epics or legendaries together as well, but Cordoba with Narses was like kind of best of, not best, but it had the damage from Cordoba, it had some amount of tankiness from Narses, and as you can see, they performed really well. If you've been following the live streams, we did like 4 live streams in the past few days, which is not usual, at least for me, but if you did, you should notice the performance of our engineering march. Now, I cannot really imagine how this march is going to perform when we have Cordoba and Gajamara both expertise and got some really nice legendaries for them. I think it's going to be like out of this world trade-wise. It's going to be super good. But this brings me to the next thing that I'm going to say for engineering marches, that they are, in Rise of Kingdoms, they are fundamentally broken. That's just my opinion. Yes, as I said, sometimes when you misposition them, you're going to get the worst reports after you like get the grasp of it, because it is going to be super different than using a regular march. Over the course of time, and I'm not talking about like weeks or days, just in like a couple hours, you are going to slowly understand where you should position your march in what scenario based on the number of enemy marches and number of allied marches. After you figure out where you should position your engineering march, you are going to get, most of the time, 90% of the time, you're going to get really good trades. The reason why I'm saying it's fundamentally broken, for example, if you have played Call of Dragons, I did, and you know that there are range marches as well. There are mages in Call of Dragons and there are archers. Mages usually deal like a little bit less damage, if I remember correctly, but their range is way bigger. Archers deal more damage, but their range is lower. Now, even though Call of Dragons and Rise of Kingdoms are very similar games, range combat in Rise of Kingdoms, at least to me, like, yes, I'm gonna work on this engineering march because it performs so well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The reason why I'm saying like it's fundamentally broken is because in Call of Dragons, there were like some sort of counterplays to range units, but in Rise of Kingdoms, we don't have any. The only solution, I would say, is having a super high counterattack damage march and sending them to siege marches and hope that all siege marches hits that march, and then your counterattacks just deal so much damage that engineering marches cannot trade positively. That is like the quote-unquote only counterplay to that. But in Call of Dragons we had, like, I might be remembering wrong, please correct me in the comment section down below, but I'm pretty sure that we had things like flying units, right? The reason why flying units are important is because they can fly over terrains, and you can target those marches that are hitting from far away a lot easier. You can focus them down a lot easier because your marches, your flying units, as I said, can fly over the terrains and reach them a lot quicker. Or we had artifacts that lets you literally teleport your march to a target location. That is kind of like another counterplay to range units. But in Rise of Kingdoms, as far as I'm aware, having a super high counterattack damage march is the only answer. But most people usually don't run those marches because they're not very good. They usually don't have AoE damage, they don't have a lot of debuffs for classic, your regular murder ball fighting. So to be able to like slightly counter siege marches, you need to sacrifice a lot. But long story short, if you want to go ahead and rewatch the streams, please do that. All footage or all videos, past live streams, are in the channel. You can find it easily. Watch the siege march. I usually like put it in a place and then play with my regular marches in the meantime, and I don't even touch it. Like, that's the funny part. You just put it there and it gets you kill points. Even with this configuration, only 2 legendary accessories. You don't even have to have that because for example, the Lane's Amulet is really good for a siege march. The reason for that is theoretically the only damage that you should be taking with your siege march is counterattack damage, and this means the Lane's Amulet is basically an all damage reduction, which is really nice. But if you do have those, yes, definitely use a Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury, and the rest is just epics, and those epics, half of them are not even special talented, and I'm using, again, a 5/5/1 legendary with a freaking epic commander in Season of Conquest. That is insane. I can't imagine the reports when we get our hands on Expertise Gajamada, Expertise Gonzalo Cordoba, and in the meantime, we will also work on the armaments, we will also work on the equipment, and I just cannot wait for the next KBK. I just cannot wait to see how they're going to perform, because now this is not going to be our worst march, this is going to be one of our better marches, and then it should give us more realistic results that what you can achieve with a march like that. For example, I got a report from one of our alliance members. Look at that, 5.5 million kill points with an 850% kill ratio just in one battle. And this person, this player Hydra, like, he is not SVIP or something, he's only at 70 million power. So I'm pretty sure he's not a high spender or anything, so he doesn't have the craziest technology, but he's able to get a report like that, which is, I would say, as impressive as the reports that I got with like a I can't even say that an average march is like such a bad march, but we got really, really decent results. Hope you guys liked it, hope you guys enjoyed it. This is, I guess, why my worst march, or how my worst march outperformed my best marches. I see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more Rise of Kingdoms videos. We are so close to 20k. I hope we can get it soon. I see you on the next one. Goodbye.